is a Shimpaku juniper, probably the most iconic tree that we have. And when I say that, it's because the tree itself is, you often see it in different movies, TV shows, really kicked off from The Karate Kid. A lot of people know this tree, not as a Shimpaku juniper, but as the Miyagi tree. At least that's what I've heard. It's about it. A lot of people ask if this is the Miyagi tree, quote unquote. And yes, and also no. So the one that they were playing with, or the one that they were adjusting in that show, the ones they were pruning, not show, movie. It's been a long week, guys. But the ones that they were pruning in that movie is the Precumbens Nana. However, this is the Shimpaku juniper. But both of them are junipers, and they're both fantastic trees. Good beginner trees. I would definitely say that this tree right here is a little... I'm going to say a little bit more advanced, but honestly, it's like you've got beginner, then you got like right here, right? The main thing is this one does have the wire on the tree itself. You can see there is a wire there. And what that's there for, it has the wire. So there's a little bit more that you have to keep in mind instead of just pruning. With this one, because the wood is so soft, you're able to mend and bend the branches in the position that you want so that you could go ahead and, make the adjustments that you need. Leave it there for about 6 to 8 months. You don't want to constantly move the branches. Just kind of find a position you want it in. Leave it there, and then the branches in 6 to 8 months will be a lot more firm, a lot more full, and they're going to stay in that position that you left it in, much like you see here. That way everybody can see those. So again, this Shimpaku juniper, $120, free shipping, by the way. We call this root over rock with the really nice pot here. We have this one right here. So this one right here is $85. The tree itself is only 3 years old, so it's still a younger tree. But again, it has really nice rock formation to it. Pretty much when it was younger, when the tree was much, much younger, they put the sapling into a groove that was drilled into the rock, and they held it in place, usually with wire or tape or something. And then as the tree started growing and started becoming a lot more full, the sapling locked itself into the tree, and so now it's not going anywhere. As it gets more full, as it starts to grow, it starts to spread out around the rock itself. It actually looks really, really cool once it starts to really grow. And now again, this is out of all the trees that we have, this is the only one that we have that's only 3 years old. Normally, it's most of the trees that we have are 10, but this one is 3 years old. Again, $85. This is a fantastic tree. Meanwhile, I'm going to go show you guys the long needle black pine. So one of the biggest differences between the 3 black pines that we have the precious black pine, and you have the long needle black pine. Now, the precious black pine, typically what they do is they remove the needles as it's growing, not all of them, but just selectively, and then they'll let them grow a little shorter, a little bit smaller. But with a long needle, they just let the tree grow wild and just kind of prune it just to shape it, not necessarily to control the growth on it itself. So that's how you get the long needle on the black pine here. There was a little bit of motion going on here, but with the precious black pine, you can see that it looks very bulbous, it looks very small, and that's mostly because of the way that it was grown. So the more traditional way to get that look is to have one branch grow particularly long. And then as it's still a sapling, all the branches and everything should be fairly malleable, they'll take that branch and they'll wrap it around the trunk, and they'll kind of put it in a loose knot, and then it'll start to grow. But because, it's so wrapped up within itself, it, really locks itself into this knot, and it keeps it short for a while. So it's pretty interesting that they do that. Honestly, one of my favorite styles of trees is because it looks so different. It looks so alien. But then you have these right here. The long needle itself, they kind of let grow a little bit more. But then on top of that, you also have let's go show you guys here it is. You have the Literati style, where they kind of just let it grow, but they made sure to shape it and make sure that it grew tall instead of creating any kind of shape to it itself. And it's supposed to replicate like what a tree does out in the wild. Because out in the wild, a new tree is usually growing in a forest. And so it has to grow tall fast, because otherwise, it's not going to be able to reach any of the sun. and that's how it feeds. You know, it needs to get those needles up above the rest of the canopy. That way it could, you know, get as much sun as possible. Now, these particular trees are pretty cool because what they have is um, what's it called? The exposed root. I'm sorry. They have the exposed roots. I'm a big fan of the exposed root itself. It's something that a lot of trees, a lot of, newer bonsai artists don't really think about, but you can tell that this tree was taken care of really well. And the exposed root, again, not a difficult thing to do, but it's not something that a lot of beginners will do. So this is a great style. Like I said, I'm a sucker for the exposed root. It looks really cool. You really get to, really use that negative space here just as just something visual. It almost makes it look like a little gate, like a liminal gate, But so yeah, love the Literati style black pine. Really good tree. This one's probably the one that I think looks the best in my opinion. I really like this style right here. It definitely looks like it needs a haircut, but this is just the style for the long needle black pine. We also have this one as well. Actually, I think I prefer this one right here, just because I'm a sucker for something like this, where it has kind of the swirl to it. I like this one a lot. The black pine, the long needle. It is a great tree, 10 years old. And you can see, especially in this one, where that 10 years went. A lot of it is the being shaped to give it that swirl. And I'll show you the other one as well. This one looks like no maintenance has gone into it in a while. But on the underside, you can see that, there's a little bit of motion, a little bit of training that went into that one right there. So I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it. But yeah, no, good growth on these guys. I like the black pines. The black pines are considered the king of bonsai, while you have the white pines that are considered the queen of bonsai. One of the biggest differences is going to be the needle. The needles for these are going to be a lot more firm. They're very pointy as well. However, the white pines are a lot softer. So it's almost like, a soft paintbrush when you technically pet it, right? But yeah, no, it's a solid tree. I dig this one a lot. But yeah, like I said, as you can see, we have the different styles. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys another style of black pine as well, because we have 3 different styles of black pine. So again, this has been the long needle, as you can see here. The next thing that we have, or the next style of black pine that we have, is going to be what's called the precious black pine. And I have this one right here. You're going to notice they're significantly smaller. So you can see here. Thank you. So you can see the precious black pine are significantly smaller. We do have quite a bit of them. So you can see that we have these. I'm only going to put 3 here. I feel like 4 is going to overload it, but I have a lot, right? So the precious black pines look so alien. They look so unique and so different compared to every other tree that we have here. Because while the other trees, yeah, they're probably shaped, but they usually have like a swirl or like a little twirl or something. But these particular trees, they're just kind of tied up within itself. So the traditional way of growing these is they let a branch grow out really, really long. And because they did it when they were saplings, they're able to take that branch and kind of tie it around the trunk and just let it grow. And so instead of growing taller, it starts growing very bulbous, right? It doesn't actually harm the tree. It's just the way it grows. But yeah, no, I think these are really cool. Now, what they did with these right here, they didn't actually use a sacrificial branch. What they did is they used a wire. And so inside the bulbous areas here, there's actually a metal wire in there. Now, again, it doesn't harm the tree itself. It will just continue to grow outwards and more bulbous. And it will eventually start growing taller once you let this part right here grow. You've got this 10-year-old tree right here. So this is still a Chinese elm, but this one right here is 10 years old. Now, this tree right here is 120, but something to keep in mind is you will not be getting the pot with it. You will only be getting the tree and the rock, well, pretty much everything that's attached to the tree itself, the roots, obviously. So if you decide you like this tree, it is 120, free shipping, priority mail. The way we ship it is we remove this tree from the pot itself, we wrap the roots up in a cloth, wet cloth, and then we wrap that in saran wrap, that way it doesn't leak. And we'll send it out again, priority mail. Try to get it to you as fast as possible. Once you purchase it through us today, all you have to do is go to a garden center, get some nice, bonsai soil, which is basically just akadama, crushed up pumice, crushed up lava rock, and so it makes it very breathable for the roots, but it also doesn't hold on to any excess moisture that it doesn't need. Is it bad if your juniper isn't getting a lot of sunlight? Do you have it indoors, or do you have it just kind of in indirect sunlight? It's getting some sun, but not direct sunlight. So indirect sunlight, you should be good. You got to keep in mind that these guys are bushes at the end of the day. They're not actual trees. So these guys are bushes, so they're kind of used to being down lower to the ground. So it's not 100% necessary. Yes, junipers need plenty of sun. They do need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day. Too little light over time weakens the tree, thins the foliage, and causes it to lose healthy color. If you want to cultivate your own, you want to create your own tree, what's a good starter? Are you talking about from seeds? Or are you talking about just kind of getting a starter tree from like us or any other place? Is that what you're talking about? If you've never done bonsai before, I would probably go with like a Chinese elm or like a maple. They're really good beginner trees because they're very forgiving. Even when it comes to pruning and watering, they're very, very forgiving on that. So those are, as far as like the ones that we have, those are the ones that I recommend. From seeds, honestly, if you could get one from a seed, I would do like a juniper or even a white pine are really good ones to like, and they're not necessarily like the beginner trees, but like if you're going to get it from a seedling, you might as well get like a really solid tree, We have two different styles of the maple. So I'll show you, I'll just grab a couple here. So I have this one right here. So this one is 100, but the biggest difference is going to be the pot. So if you want one for 85, you can go for this one. This is just a regular plastic pot. Priority mail. Whenever we ship a tree, whenever we ship any of the trees out to you, we'll always send care instructions, and we'll also send care instructions and our contact information. That way, if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us. And the nice thing is that does not expire. So if you want to reach out to us in like 3 years and you catch one of our streams, or just contact that number, contact that email, whatever it is that we send, and we'll take care of you. Ending the stream soon here, so if you guys, again, any questions, you guys want to take a look at anything, definitely let me know. But for the most part, like I said, give us a follow and check out the shop in our channel as well. But guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody for joining us. Check us out on Thursday. Sky, we're doing Thursday? Okay, cool. We're going to be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, it sounds like, around 2:30 California time, so do your math there. All right, guys, take care.